realistically,
Yeah.
if you don't have the right to yell at your police officers, then you got a problem, right? If no one was throwing stones, if no one was doing anything like that, then that's a peaceful protest as far as I'm concerned.
Was there a protest you guys went to?
Yeah, we went to
Today?
the protest. We went
Yeah,
to the
yesterday,
protest yesterday.
Guy,
Mm.
we could
Alright,
definitely
yeah, tell me about that.
Like,
So-
I don't know what it is, but like I never thought about protesting before. But after this, I was like,
Yeah,
it actually seems like let's fucking do it.
Yeah.
yeah, it was Paris and I's first protest. So it was, I don't know if I could speak for Paris, but I know for myself, it was pretty, like, I don't want to say good because what you're protesting for wasn't good. And there was a lot of emotion and anger. But it was good in the sense of seeing a lot of people on the streets that you walk every day, but all crowded and united in one cause.
Yeah.
That kind of, having that feeling was kind of bizarre. Never experienced that before, but you got to get used to it because I don't want to say there's like protocol, but there's definitely like, especially like I felt it like as a white guy in the protest, it was like I don't want to not overstep a boundary, but like especially shit like being violent and looting and all of that at the Toronto protest. There was really like no excuse for any of that to go on kind of at any point. I don't know if shit ended up going on later on in the day.
I don't think it is. It did. We would have heard about it by now if it did. I heard they were also lockdown protests. So we were supposed to go to Queen's Park. It was from Christie Pitts to Queen's Park originally. And they said at some point, no, we're going to go to the police station instead. And it was because, we didn't know why, but it apparently was because of, like white supremacists / anti-lockdown / neo-Nazis at Queen's Park. So
Yeah.
you know,
we want there to be a big clash, so we moved to in front of police headquarters, which got kind of not heated, but people were in their face.
Yeah, people were cheesed.
How did you guys get notified that like there was going to be a presence there?
I don't know how they found out, but literally they just sent it down the line. They're like, we're not going there anymore. And then later on, like on the internet,
walking down, yelling, like it was a somewhat organized event in the sense that the timing of it is what's making it so peculiar, right? Because there's all these protests going on in the state. The Toronto protest originally, like mainly supposed to be for the death of Regis, the girl who supposedly pushed off the balcony. So that was what the main energy for it was, and the people who were leading it, I guess, were supposedly like involved with the family of the girl or whatever. Because by the time we got to the actual police headquarters, they were saying like on the speakers, like, because they were at the front of the like protest too. They were like, out of respect for the family, we want everyone to disperse and go home. Like, we don't want a violent protest. And then it took a while for people to leave, and like people were walking around the crowd telling other people, oh, you know, family saying we should leave. But then you just see people like swarming kind of like the main headquarter area where all the cops were, and just run at them, right? And that's where a lot of the main tension was for like honestly like a good over an hour. At that point though, they also announced like, oh, okay, at this point anything that goes on is out of the organized protest hands, and it's just people, right? And then they left, right? So that was that aspect of it. And I think the vibe I got afterwards was that people who carried on the protest were kind of carrying it on the anti-cop sentiment, maybe not so much at the Regis thing, but just all of it in general.
Yeah.
So at the end, you had the crowd of people who were in front of the barricade while the cops were standing behind, you know, in rows or whatever, and they were like, you know, yelling. They were all cheese, whatever, rightfully so. And then people, you know, and then the organizers was like, oh, they want a peaceful protest, this is that, whatever. But my thing was, that is peaceful though. Realistically, if you don't have the right to yell at your police officers, then you got a problem, right? If no one was throwing stones, if no one was doing anything like that, then that's a peaceful protest as far as I'm concerned.
There was a moment where there was somebody in the crowd that was kind of tossing a little bit of water from their water bottle, trying to just whatever, and everyone in the crowd was like, yo,
don't do that.
Like, no. Trying to antagonize or throw the first stone. Like, if anybody's instincting anybody, we're making sure it's coming from them. We're likely the ones to instigate first. So people were like, no throwing water, none of that shit. And then Paris and I ended up leaving, right? So I remember we went up to get like food or something up Yonge Street, And I remember seeing from that moment like a bunch of cops in riot gear and horses in riot gear and stuff walking down the street, just shitting all over the street. I got cheese. There was a bunch of them, right? And then they would all kind of crowd around the back end of the building where no one was, kind of. So then we ended up reaching back, and then, you know, Paris, it was loud, you know? So it was just some man, you know, like, cops coming with the door. It's probably best to make sure you don't get too rowdy, because these guys probably, because they were in riot gear.
But for like the Toronto protest, one thing I also found super hypocritical, right? I'm like, and now it's even more now that we found out it was bleach. But like, okay, there was a brief moment where when everyone was getting in the faces of the police headquarters, like there was a moment where somebody had been trying to throw water or whatever at the cops, and everyone was trying to shut it down, right? And they were so close to popping off on that.
Yeah.
Moving up, getting all angsty. And I guarantee you they were gonna, if something had happened, they would have justified, oh, we don't know what was in that bottle, it could have been acid in the bottle, whatever, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
I want to make perfectly clear for everyone watching right now that when we were like 10, 12 feet away from the man pouring bleach out his window on protesters, there were cops at the intersection also a few feet away.
That's true.
Watching it all happen.
That is true.
They didn't do shit.
Yeah. That is true.
Yeah.
That's true. It's
I want to say 6 cops, 3 on each side
yeah.
of the intersection, within feet, because it was at the Home Hardware on Bloor, and it was right above the Home Hardware on Bloor, and I can't remember, but it was in between Vagina and somewhere.
Yeah.
But we were in between the cops and them. So if we were in 10 feet of the water, the cops were also 10, 12 feet in the other direction. So they all saw everyone was going at them, tossing oranges, whatever, at the window. So they saw it, and they didn't do shit. But they were ready to pounce off of somebody just trying to throw a water ball at them. And for all we know, like, even if that water ball that the person was trying to throw at the cops is filled with something, it was like literally a couple drops. This dude there was gallons of water poured out this window, dude. I'm telling you, like, at least a dozen people got hit by that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now that I'm finding out it's bleach, that it's confirmed that it's not water, and it makes sense too, because when I looked at the window, Paris, did you notice there was a huge stain and circle all over the window? I thought that was just residue from the water, but that's probably the bleach staining the window.
Yeah.
Or the mesh.
The mesh, yeah.
That's incredibly fucked up. Especially if you don't like the protest. If you're not for the cause, you don't have to do something malicious as to throw bleach out the window.
But regardless, I also want to mention too, this is the same world where, remember, keep in mind, the police, ever since people in Britain and stuff started spraying acid on people's faces, police started pouring liquids on people very seriously, spraying shit with water guns, because they don't know what could be in the water gun or whatever. So they started taking that shit very seriously as of the past few years. And so for them to see somebody pouring shit out their window, which was confirmed to be bleach,
yeah,
and then not do anything about it, is what extremely frustrates.
Yeah,
so
people should definitely
people have
address
bleach
that.
poured on them. I don't know what's happened.
Bro,
man.
they got
These
his
men had
address.
bleach poured on them, bro.
Yeah, they got his address. They got enough information to go after him. I really wonder if they're going to. I really wonder if they're
But in the moment, they didn't do shit.
Glance. Even just a
In
glance.
the moment, they didn't do shit.
Yeah.
And it was an act of aggression.
Yeah.
They should have moved in because somebody committed a crime that they witnessed. They're witnesses of a crime.
And as Flowers says, it's a hate crime. Realistically,
Exactly.
it is. Like,
And it was a hate crime.
yeah, and it's just, but it's a pattern. Like, it's, I don't know. We'll see if they go after him after the fact, because real shit, they got his address, they know, and I'm sure some of them even saw it happen.